Hey guys, it's me, Orangberry. As you may know, on January 10th is National Eagle Day. Now, to commemorate this wonderful occasion, I thought it would be a great idea to make a beginner's guide or overview of our fellow Zooba Eagle, Steve. Steve, the Dauntless Diver, or as I like to call him, Juicebox Steve, the bird that could, is my favorite Zooba character, as you all should know from my logo, am I right? Before we begin, let's first take a moment to learn a little bit about what kind of eagle Steve is. According to Wildlife Studios' website, everything is black or white to Steve, not only because he is colorblind, but because everything is either right or wrong. There is no middle ground, and to Steve, he is always right. In order to do so, he needs to eliminate everyone and everything that is wrong. Now that we know more about Steve's personality, let's get into his abilities and his item compatibility. Steve's passive is easy prey. Targeted enemies are always visible and take extra damage. Steve's active is called Rude Swoop. Steve flies into the air, and when he lands, he damages all nearby enemies in his path. Okay, now let's talk about weapon compatibility. On Steve, the first item and most important item I should say to recommend would be the adrenaline shot. Because Steve, he has a very low health pool, and I have been one-shot so many times on Steve, it's so hard to count the number of times. That little injection of health has saved me more times than I can count. There are so many battles I was able to turn around just because I got that little sliver of health, and I immediately activated my active ability, which enabled me to run away and recoup. That's why I would honestly say the most important item to get on Steve is the adrenaline shot. That's the best and number one item you need to have to be a great Steve player. My second item of choice, I would recommend using the vampire teeth. Honestly, because Steve has such a high damage output, using the bow on an enemy allows him to heal for nearly 75% of his HP just because of that vampire teeth, so I think that can help a lot along the way. And then my third item is kind of tricky because I alternate between two items, one mainly the wake up coffee and also the jungle shoes. These two items are both very useful in different scenarios. I'll give you some examples right now. I use the wake up coffee mainly because I like to be super aggressive with Steve, and super aggressive early game is more my playstyle. Whereas using the jungle shoes, I'm more in the mood to be more sustainable, so I'd more fight in the bushy areas where I'll get the ability activated. And honestly, you can use the holy sandals if you have it available to you, because obviously going on walking on water is amazing, right? Who else wouldn't want to walk on water? I think that's all for the item compatibilities, honestly, because I think those items are the best compatible. But as I said, the number one compatible item is the adrenaline shot. It's the most important. Okay, so let's move on to the tips and tricks. And these tips and tricks aren't many, but they can help you improve your gameplay. Number one, when in a match, please do not, and I repeat, do not run towards a Nyx using your active. Chasing a Nyx with your active is the worst possible thing you can do. Why? Simply because you can land, and when you land, you can dash away no problem. The best way to fight a Nyx is honestly to set up a strategical play. By doing so, you allow the Nyx to come to you, which will then obviously allow him to eventually mess up, and once he messes up, you take that opportunity to strike and take that victory. Number two. Honestly, Steve is a very, very aggressive character innately. So, because of his high DPS rate as a character, he's able to play very aggressive and has a very high chance of killing people very quickly. His active gives him so much playstyles because look, his active may be mainly as aggression, but honestly, I do use his active to run away and set up strategical plays, and that's something you have to keep in mind. Being able to know how to use his active is one of the most important things with Steve. You need to know when to run, when to retreat, and when to attack. Something I missed early on is weapon upgrades. Now, due to the new update, these things have been very prevalent in our recent games. Now, this is something I'm going to talk about now and how I choose to upgrade Steve, which enhances my personal gameplay. Personally, I love to max range on both my bow and my spear. Why, you ask? Simply because that extra range does help in killing a lot of characters, especially those that like to run away. Talking about you, Nyx and Skippy players, you know who you are. And for the shotgun, it's pretty simple. I max velocity. Why? Because the range, even if you max it, isn't as much as you believe it to be. So that extra velocity helps so much. It helps burst down characters. Plus, I have a tendency to simply click my active, and when I land, oh man, first ability I click is that shotgun, and boom, get that injection, or I one-shot them. Now, before we close off this video, I want to get you with the best, most secretly guarded tips of Steve. Now, these are my really important tips, and I want to let you know these meme tips are so important. Number 1, make sure you have the emote equipped with Steve eating his toast. Why? Because when you click that after killing someone, you immediately hit them with that serious emotional damage. They won't be able to take it. Trust me, that's a lot of extra damage you didn't expect to do. And finally, obviously the most important one out of all the meme tips I could give is making sure you have the right skin attached. Zooba Watch Steve is the best skin for one reason only. He has glasses, and glasses equal goggles. And every anime fan knows goggles makes you the main character. And if you're the main character, it means you have the best plot armor in the series. And plot armor equals you can't die and you always win. So get that plot armor, guys, and get that skin. All jokes aside, the most important tip of playing Steve and any other character in any game, especially Zooba, is to have fun. Don't allow anyone to ruin your gameplay. The most important thing is having fun, because that's what games are really mainly for. So that's my biggest tip to use, to have fun and have a good time. Okay guys, that's all for me. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed this guide. Bye!